What's going on, y'all? Back with another video on the Holy Paladin doing some solo shuffle. This is about 20 to 50 MMR, and it was a pretty decent matchup against a resto druid. It was an all melee lobby minus the frost mage. This is kind of the end of the season. I didn't really make a giant push in solo shuffle this season. We did most of our stuff in threes, so I was just kind of having fun with this one. And starting out, I have the warrior and the frost mage on my team. Realistically, we should be able to win this one. They overlap there on their CC, so I do go ahead and trinket. The frost mage is doing a ton of damage, kind of split between the two of them. I hodge the druid, he trinkets instantly, and I go ahead and blind him. And we kind of lose a little bit of pressure there, surprisingly. But we did get the druid's trinket. And I believe we got several cooldowns from the paladin. The frost mage is doing a pretty good job of kiting. I do go ahead and use blessing of protection on him just so he can kind of free cast a little bit. The druid comes in to stun me. I was hoping for a counterspell on the clone, but we are okay. He does have ice block available, and he does go ahead and use it there, which is good because I did get hodged off of that. So I'm going to try and pick him up in the ice block. He's not running the PvP talent that heals him while he's in the ice block, which is perfectly fine. So right here, the most important part is I want to keep this mage up while he has his other ice block on cooldown. You can see it slowly going up, so I can honestly use as many cooldowns as I need just to pick him back up. So right there, I juke the DK's kick, and everybody is topped off. I'm going to run at the druid for a hodge. He does try and bait it out with his shadow meld, and I don't fall for it. I go ahead and use my second blessing of protection. We still have lay on hands, and sacrifice is coming up in like 13 seconds, and again, we have a ton of pressure. Honestly, we could kill either one of these guys. They have quite a bit of pressure on us, but I am going to stabilize here. Got a big heal coming in for the mage. I'm kind of just, again, kiting towards the mage. I would like to give him a freedom here soon so he can kite a little bit better, but he's going towards the end. He's used spell steal to get the blessing protection off of the DK, and it looks like we are about even on mana. Me and the rest of druid, he may be slightly winning. So this is a really good heads up play by the mage. He's actually pulling him away from the resto druid's Trents and making him LOS, and you can see these guys are just chasing him all the way around. The resto druid's now using travel form to get around so he can get to them. He blinks out of the way, and I'm kind of just positioning in a really weird spot here. I do go ahead and trinket that strangulate because, I mean, again, I still have bubble, and the match is going to end really soon. We're at 49% dampening, so there's no way even the resto druid won't be able to keep him up for much longer. You can see me trying to toss in some damage here. I do give the blessing of spring to my mage. He does use ice block, and you can see how crazy dampening is going, and the ret paladin does go down. Dampening just gets too high, and we were able to save the mage's second ice block until it mattered. So right here, it's Ret Warrior. Honestly thought this one would be a pretty easy win, but you'll see here that we're gonna let the Frost Mage free cast here for a little bit, and he is going to pump a ton of damage. This Frost Mage actually played really well. Just his positioning and pulling both healers into weird spots. So right here, I have both of them topped kind of through the opener. I'm going to go try and hodge the druid. He leaps to me. I do hodge him. He doesn't trinket that, so I'm going to blind him off, but I get stranged right before I was going to blind and stunned. He's going to try and cyclone me, and I'm hoping that the ret paladin sees that I'm cycloned and uses a defensive, so that was a little bit late. I am going to top him. I used Hand of Sacrifice right there. So he's actually topped. The druid uses Tranquility to avoid any CC, so I'm going to go over here and top myself off. And now, unfortunately, the ret paladin's not going to bubble or use any defensives, and he's going to get basically killed from 20%. So that was really unfortunate because you can see he has bubble off cooldown, and maybe he just didn't see that he needed to use it. I don't know. It's really tough healing a ret paladin in these lobbies. So now we're 1-1. Honestly, I thought that one was winnable. And we are now TSG. So it's ret paladin and frost mage again. That frost mage was hiding out in stealth. and I was trying to hold my tears, so I got real greedy with that, and it could cost us here. So I'm not going to have Tears Deliverance up for a second. I do get cloned. It's a full clone, so I'll go ahead and shrink it. And I am using Daybreak just as like a cooldown here. I'm going to run around the corner while he doesn't have Counterspell back up, and while they can't CC me, to get Tears Deliverance rolling again. And I'm really, honestly, behind on this one, but we're starting to get a little bit of pressure on the mage. He does use his knockback, but it didn't work on either of the DPS. I don't know what was up with that. And we get his first ice block, which is really, really good, you know, this early in the game. Like, my mana is fine, so he's only going to have one other ice block here. And I was kind of standing in that frost orb, so I couldn't get polyed. And it looked like, I don't know why, but it looked like that broke for some reason. So right here, we're just kind of splitting damage between the Ret Pally and the Frost Mage. I'm going to go over here to try and hodge the Resto Druid. He uses Tranquility to dodge my hodge, but I got hit with the Ret Paladin's Hand of Justice first, and we do a ton of damage to the mage out of nowhere. He does go for the Ring of Frost, and we're able to just kind of get out of it. My warrior leaps over to him. He's doing a ton of damage to him. He does knock my warrior away that time. He Dragon's Breath the DK, and now the DK is going to pop AMS, so his Ray of Frost was pretty much useless there. I do need to go ahead and dispel or freedom my DK. I do decide to dispel him, and again, I'm going to go ahead and bubble because I'm not worried about them killing me. And it looks like they're focusing everything on my warrior. I want to go ahead and dispel him since he had the Frost Bomb and the Ring of Fire on him. That Ring of Fire is basically a tick that does a percentage of his health. I do get locked, and he uses his defensive, which is huge. My lay on hands didn't do all that much healing to him because we're at 42% dampening at this point. But I'm able to pick him up, and he's now topped. I'm winning slightly on the mana, but keep in mind the Resto Druid can put out more heals per second than I can. Super heads up play here by the warrior. He runs behind just to kind of give me a little second to catch up. The DK is over here getting destroyed. We do have Hand of Sacrifice back up, but I'm trying to hold it just a little bit longer because we are at 52% dampening. And so now the Ret Paladin does bubble when he's on the Resto Druid's team. So good heads up play, or I mean, yeah, good heads up play by the Ret Paladin there. I get hodged. So we still have Sack here as our only out. I do go ahead and use it on my warrior, and I'm kind of, you know, I'm starting to run way behind here. It's 62% dampening. The Resto Druid's I'm getting there really quick. I go ahead and hodge to stop that clone. And again, we have both Blessing and Protection up, so I'm kind of just like trying to keep them alive as long as I can. I do get stunned, so I'll go ahead and bot myself, and they do take down the Frost Mage. So kind of a crazy dampener game. We got to 69% dampening there. Now, next up we have the Frost Mage and the Unholy DK versus Ret Warrior Resto Druid. Realistically, there's no way we should win this one, but you know, I didn't think I was going to lose when I had the Ret Warrior on my team and ended up losing, so we'll see how this one goes. I didn't have high hopes, but you can see we are doing a ton of damage to the Ret Pally. I mean, he is just getting chunked here. And it looks like they're wanting to focus mainly on the Unholy DK, which is kind of surprising. I thought they would just be focusing the Frost Mage. Do go ahead and use a Blessing or Protection there. And it looks like we're going to get the Hodge and maybe the blind on the Trent and the Resto Druid here. So yeah, we do get a double blind here. And we're just getting a ton of pressure on the Ret Paladin. My DK uses his AMS there. So what I'm kind of looking for, and which I didn't time it well right there, but what I was kind of looking for is if he did get the clone on me, I'd do the Hand of Sacrifice right before the clone, so that way it's like a double immunity, because I am running Ultimate Sacrifice in these solo shuffles. So he's going for the clone now, unfortunately, and I didn't have the Hand of Sacrifice up. I do use the Blessing of Spring, so my DK takes increased healing from me. Sometimes it's better to use that on yourself. So in that scenario where I'm only healing the DK, it's okay to throw it on him, but other times you kind of want to use it on yourself just in case you're having to swap targets around. It's not as useful. So I do get full cloned here. I have Bubble available, but he's ice blocked, and I'm not really worried. I don't know. I'm not really worried about sitting that clone. I was afraid he was gonna kick me there. We do proc Saved by the Light on my Frost Mage, and he is just getting really chunked here, so it gets super scary. And I'm gonna go ahead and toss out the blessing, the damage blessing, which is the Blessing of Summer, and I'm hoping they're gonna get some pressure off of that. And I'm not sure if that's, I think that's his second ice block. Either way, we're getting heavy into dampening again. We're 46%. The rest of the druid is winning on mana, but then the Ret Paladin just gets deleted there. I don't think he had any cooldowns left for that one. I'm not sure. I wasn't paying attention if he still had bubble or not. So we got the 3 wins. We only have 1 loss, and it was with the Ret Pally. So now it's the Ret on Holy DK, and this one was so strange. Like, the ending of this one was really bizarre. So I go ahead and use my Lay on Hands because the opener was just awful there. So I got too far behind, had to burn a major cooldown. Really unfortunate, but they're getting a ton of pressure out. Like, look at how both my DPS are just getting chunked while I'm in this poly. So I do go ahead and use my Ultimate Sacrifice. I'm trying to juke Counterspell there, and I need to go ahead and use Daybreak, honestly, because I'm still, so far behind. And again, both my DPS are just kind of getting chunked. Luckily, my Ret Pally didn't pull the trigger too early in the bubble there, so that was good. It also looks like he still has Lay on Hands, which is also good, but we're not getting too much pressure. I'm kind of standing in the Frozen Orb to try and avoid, any kind of CC. If I get feared or polyed, that Frozen Orb will break me out. And the Frost Mage has Frozen Orb back up again, I guess because of something maybe his Blizzard. So right here you see the DK get really low. I can instantly bubble, but the Ret Paladin uses Lay on Hands on the DK, and he doesn't get any healing from it. Really bizarre. I don't know if it was a glitch or what was going on there, but if you want to rewind the video, you can see that the Ret Paladin does in fact use Lay on Hands, and he doesn't use it on himself. But yeah, the DK just took no healing. He also had a Hand of Sacrifice from the Ret Paladin on him. So really unfortunate with that loss. I could have bubbled. The druid kind of glitch lagged all over the place. So this is kind of the final round to go for the win here. I was afraid. I was like, man, this is going to be a 3-3. Really unfortunate, considering one of them was just, the Ret Paladin needing the bubble, and then that one was just really strange where the Ret Paladin used his cooldowns and played well, and the DK just took no healing. I don't know what was up with that. But I actually thought, I was like, all right, we can get this Ret Pally a win. He's not going to go 0-6. We're with the Frost Mage, which is probably the best of all the DPS. He's been playing really well. And as long as the DK and the Warrior are splitting, or if they're going for the Frost Mage, I think we can win, because I can help the Frost Mage kite with freedom and stuff like that. So, and especially if they're using, strangulates and asphyxiates on the mage, then we should be okay, because they don't have really an offensive dispel. There's no blood elf there. Neither of them have any way to remove blessing of protection. So as long as they don't overlap with his ice block and my blessing of protection, we should be okay. So I'm gonna run over here, hodge the druid. I don't have blind up, so I'm gonna move away from him, try and range any kind of clone or something like that. And you can see me trying to kind of push damage onto the DK. I do toss Blessing of Spring on my mage because they're really just focusing him, so he can take increased healing. We still have our Hand of Sacrifice. That was the Ret Pally's Hand of Sacrifice that was used on the mage. So again, good. And here's the thing, the Ret Pally didn't necessarily play bad in these. I know he had lost, but it's not really a good, it's always rough to heal a Ret Paladin because you share the forbearance cooldowns, and yeah, he did make that one mistake of not bubbling in the one match, but that's, that happens. You get caught in between globals or whatever. But it just kind of shows you that some of these matchups in Solo Shuffle are really luck based, because I don't think this Paladin played all that bad. I think it's just kind of a bad lobby for him, just the matchups and getting unlucky. So right here we are chunking the DK, and it looks like he does go down, and we get the 4-2 win. So really interesting lobby, not bad. Got a little bit more MMR. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think about it. Are you excited for the new season? I'm definitely going to try and push more raiding next season. I was kind of lazy with solo shuffle this season because we wanted to focus on threes, but I'm definitely going to push solo shuffle next season. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe, smash the like button, all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.